So my friends, esteemed colleagues, family, this is going to be a little bit unusual video, and I'm sure many of you will not agree with me. But anyway, not many people agree with me in general. So I'm not worrying about it. But this is what my research led me to believe. Licenses of any kind have to go. In the new world that we are creating, in my world, I do not want to see any single license. Because what does license mean? Well, we are being told you cannot just do what you want to do. You have to learn how to do things correctly, and then you get certificate that you know about this particular subject. And then you get permit that you can implement your knowledge. Well, who controls the organizations that feed you the information of your knowledge? And who controls the licensing? It is basically all in the hands of those that have enslaved us. And through this, they control who can do what and when and how. Is that a good thing? Well, there is a movement for liberation. And even in the movement of liberation, you have now two fractions. One fraction says abolish all licensing. Another fraction says, no, you cannot do this. Because how can you get, for example, someone to drive in a traffic that didn't pass a driving school? And the certification that he passed the driving school is going to be the license that he's going to have. So yes, we don't need some licenses, but we need some others. Because if you don't have license, it means that you maybe or probably don't know the rules and you cause accident. Well, I argue everybody who drives now, just about everybody, has a license. And we never had as many accidents as we have now. The license does not protect you from having accidents. I'm driving without license now for a while. I don't have accidents. Now, why I don't have license? Because I have been outcasted. I don't have bank account. I'm in a country without permission to work. Again, license to work. Who gives you this license? Some bureaucrat. It is to control you. I did exit the system a long time ago. And when I say I don't have license, well, I have license I bought. My all licenses, including my captain license, everything expired. How can there be a term limit on license? So if you get the license once, you have the license forever. You know what you're doing. No. It has to be renewed. Here in Peru, every 5 years. In the States, every 10 years. And then when you're older, this goes every 5 years. They have to check your eyes. Well, I have a problem with my eye. I'm still driving. And because of that, I could not go and get the license the proper way. I just paid for it. But still, I don't have accidents. No moron is going to go to do something they don't know how to do and cause himself and others harm. And if they do so, which means they have disregard for others. So they are drunk when they're driving. They are on a phone. I see guys on motorcycles. And phone in one hand, girls mostly. On these scooters, they don't need a clutch, so the left hand is free. Police looking doesn't do nothing. And it's illegal. Then they wonder, why I have accident? Well, because they are not culpable for their actions. It has nothing to do with licenses. Another argument comes, well, somebody who wants to build something, they have to have school for building because, then on the school, they get license to actually build. Well, who built Galloping Susie, the bridge that collapsed in the United States? A licensed architect. So mistakes happen. If you don't know how to build something, you're not that stupid that you're going to do it. But if you have an idea and you want to do something, well, you get yourself busy to learn about it, and then you put yourself out there. Give idea. Okay, I would like to build this, and I created plans for this, and look, this. Why would you need license? Again, form of control. Pay me, and you get a license. And then if I don't like you, I won't give you a license. So give me on the side, a few bucks, and then I'll give you a license to do something else. It's all form of control. Completely unnecessary. And here we come to medical licenses. So, wow, you cannot go help people with the health if you didn't go to school, medical school. And then after you have your diploma, then you still have to get a license to work in a certain area. So if you have medical school, and we know that all medical books are now controlled by Rockefellers, so it doesn't matter where you study medicine. You can be studying it in New York City, you can study in London, you can study in Zagreb, Croatia, you can study in Tungusia, doesn't matter. On this little island, Saba, there is a medical school in Caribbean. They have 10 inhabitants and they have about 1,000 students, medical students. There's nothing but this freaking medical school there, right? It doesn't matter what you study because you're studying from the same book, which is pushed through the Rockefeller Organization, Foundation. But now, if you study somewhere and then you want to actually get a license to work somewhere else, they will now put you through drill. Well, we don't know what you learn if you know what you're doing, and language could be a problem. Okay, so here we go with language problem. My older brother, he was a physician, medical doctor, and I'm veterinarian. So we both studied in Europe. We studied in Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, and finished our schools in Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia, actually, Croatia had tougher schooling program than Czechoslovakia at that time. When I finished second year of primary school in Czechoslovakia, and when I start third year of my primary school in Yugoslavia, I had to learn how to read and write Cyrillic, which we didn't have to do in Czechoslovakia, and I had to multiply and divide to 100, which we didn't do in Czechoslovakia at the time. It was just addition and deduction in the second year. In Croatia, already multiplication. So I was behind, so I had to catch up, which I did. Anyway, so just want to say that the schools in Croatia, Yugoslavia at the time, were very strict, very rigorous. And some of our professors also held cathedra in German, or veterinarian professors, in parasitology and I believe in surgery. So I finished school there. So I had my 8 years of primary, 4 years of secondary, which we call gymnasium, and then 5 years of medical school. Same like my brother. Now for my brother, my father said, okay guys, now you go to the United States. This is where money goes. This is where you want to make your money. Well, my brother went, and he had to make the affidavit test, reciprocal test. And English language, since in Croatia we speak Serbo-Croatian, Croatian language, Slavic, close to Russian or Polish. And English is completely something different. So, English language for my brother was part of his affidavit test, of the reciprocity test. And the English that he was asked during the test was, okay, how many? It was all circling, no talking at all, just test circling, A, B, C, D, whatever it is. So a man has 10 fingers, 20 fingers, 2 fingers, 10 toes, 5 toes, 11 toes, and questions like this. Of course, he tests stuff and he got licensed to do his medical stuff. When I came 11 years later to the United States, I could not have English as a language part of my affidavit test. I first had to pass English test, and this English had to be on a level of college. So I had to study English so that I can go and pass the veterinary reciprocity test. Of course, it took me 3 years. I failed twice because it was tough. Now, I'm a veterinarian. I don't talk to my patients. They don't talk to me. But my English had to be perfect. My brother, physician, he has to talk to his patient. But his English, who cares? Now, does licensing make any sense to you? Go further than this. Through my work, I'm showing that everything they teach us in medical school is wrong. Not only a little wrong, it's contrary to the truth. So it is manipulated. And doctors, physicians, learn actually how to create chronic illnesses. And they're masters at it. They don't know how to heal squat. They cannot heal a pimple. They cannot heal ulcer. And now let's not even mention chronic diseases, which basically end up to be autoimmune at the end, because once when you cannot suppress it any further, well, yeah, it's autoimmune. Body is attacking itself. Nonsense. So through my work, I'm showing that everything we are told in medical school is wrong. Yet you need to have diploma, medical diploma, so you can get licensed and actually work as a doctor. There's no deadly squat about how to, not only how to heal, the word healing doesn't exist in medical vocabulary, it's curing, and nobody can use cure other than doctors, which is another nonsense. Cure means to preserve. So, Where does medical license lead us? Before we had a different type of a medical educational approaches. Not in Europe. Europe got sucked into this Kabbalistic world much faster than the United States. The United States was free. So in the United States, you had osteopaths, and then you have licensed doctors that went through these controlled medical schools. Then you have chiropractors. Well, in Europe, you had the only thing that was allowed was a doctor. You had to be in medical school, get your medical diploma, and then so when you're sick, you have no choice. The only one that is allowed to treat you is the one who knows absolutely nothing about diseases. Only knows how to play with the symptoms through medication. So suppresses the symptom. Okay, you feel better. Good, I did my job. But at the same time, he actually poisons you more and more. This thing is an injected poison. How much doctors know about these things, about these zubzulas that they put in? This is 0. And it could be 666, carbon. If you're a Satanist, you will interpret it differently. It's all about interpretation, where your mindset is. What Kabbalah did is took positive symbols and gave them negative meanings. So if you're a Satanist, you will look at it that way. I'm not. So for me, this is a sign, okay, everything is in order. So now, the more we start opening our eyes, how important is licensing? And not only how important, should it even be done? Why should someone else have say over what your capabilities are, and what you should be doing? I mentioned I had a fabulous artist when I was in high school that was with me in a class. He actually dropped one class because he could not finish certain subjects like chemistry and mathematics. But he wanted to be artist, but he need to be licensed to be artist. So artists have to, in Europe, in Yugoslavia, Croatia now, that part, they have to, it's academic status. You want to be, sculpturist, artist, Mešković in Croatia. You have to show that, you're smart, that you finished higher school. So to become a teacher of arts, professor of arts, he had to finish high school. But in high school, then he has to have subject of mathematics, physics, chemistry that he didn't care for. He was artist. He can just make a few lines and you know exactly which individual in a classroom this represents. He would pick up exactly the right thing. Either something with the eyebrow, or something with the nose, or something with the eye, or something with the lip. He picked it up. And he just makes this thing, and everybody starts laughing because he exaggerates it, and everybody starts laughing about it. So a fabulous artist. Could not pass a freaking high school, so he could not become academic in art. How ridiculous is this? Same with my cousin, who is fabulous car mechanic. Everybody brings car to him. When they cannot fix BMW, when they cannot fix Porsche, they bring it to him and his son. Okay? He couldn't get a license. He couldn't pass the school because in Croatia, Yugoslavia, you have to pass mechanic school to become licensed mechanic. And in that school, you also have to pass chemistry and physics and literature. He didn't care about these things. His hands were always in engines. Now he couldn't get to open his car shop because he didn't have a license. He had to do job, the unlicensed way, risking to end up in a jail and being confiscated his equipment. Then later on, his son got a license, so they actually licensed their business through his son. But how ridiculous it is having a fabulous mechanic not allowed to do his mechanic job because he didn't pass freaking chemistry. Licenses. Show me one reason why we need license. Doctors, no diddly squat. They all have licenses. You want to heal, you go to shaman, you go to tribal healer. None of them is licenses. Each one of them will heal you. Why? They'll purge you. It's a part of healing process. The biggest part of healing process is purge. What is cellular protocol about? Hydration and cleansing, stimulating body to cleanse, but much deeper than shamanic, you go into cellular level of cleanse. But big part of shamanic cleansing is also done on base of emotional frequencies, which doctors are clueless about. And those who woke up, like Dr. Hammer, they have then banged down into submission, and if they resist, then they were on the run like he was. Show me anything that requires licensing, and why does it require license? And I'll prove you wrong. You are not going to go buy an airplane and go fly it if you don't learn how to use it. And you learn then what are the procedures in the air so you don't have collisions. In the United States, when I first bought my sailboat in the 90s, it was a double-masted 46-footer, ocean-going sailboat. I didn't need any license for it. I can just go pop up and use it. The only way I needed a license is if I turn it commercial. This was the Admiralty law, the British law of sea. The same should have been done with cars, with motorcycles, with trucks, if it is for your own purpose. It doesn't have to be registered, and you can operate it without license. You only have to license it and register it when it is used commercially, because if you hurt somebody, things should be inspected. This is what the premise was. Actually, this was the blah 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 about it, but the real truth is this is how they control how you use that stuff. They will know exactly what you are doing and estimate how much money you are making, so they know how much money to take away from you. This is all about this law of licensing. It's unnecessary, and this is what turns us into slaves, slaving for somebody else. If you want to learn something, well, it will be your interest. You find something interesting, so you pursue it, and you look for information about it. You don't need a school that will tell you, well, yeah, this is fine, but you should really know about this and this. Well, it doesn't interest me. It doesn't matter. You will not pass this unless you learn that. Why is that? Again, form of control. They have to brainwash you. And everything they tell you is to support the system, the fake system. They brainwash you for you to have a wrong understanding of everything, and then you are lost because you cannot implement it. Doctors are practicing medicine. Why? Because they never learned it. So they have to practice and practice and practice. And as older they get, all of a sudden they start realizing, well, this stuff doesn't work. But then they're already too old, and their money depends on this. If you don't do the way they tell you to do, you lose your license. You end up in a jail. So licensing, my friends, has to go. All types of licensing. And we have to work on it. We have to get together behind it. You are free to respond why something would need license, and I will prove it to you that it is not so. We do not need licenses. And they are always going to be form of control. And this is the purpose of it. Before, we had horse, you didn't register it, and you didn't need a license to ride it. You had your buggy, horses to pull it, you didn't need a license. Yeah, accident happened, but accident happened every time. License doesn't protect you from accidents. But you're not going to do something to intentionally harm yourself because of your stupidity, operating something that you know how to operate. You first learn. I knew how to drive motorcycles when I was 13 years old, but I couldn't take it on the road. I was too young to get licensed. So I drove it illegal. And this is more dangerous because then, you have to do sometimes things that you would not do otherwise, like run from police. Puts you in danger. Again, show me one example where licenses make sense, and I'll prove you wrong. So in this awakening process now, as we are creating our future and thinking about the future, let's unite behind the common goal of zero licensing. Everything has to be responsible for himself and responsible for people around, not to cause harm. No license is going to do this for you. This has to come from within. In Yugoslavia, Croatia now, Europe basically, you cannot sell perfumes unless you finish trade school and you got your license that you can be salesperson. How ridiculous is that? Americans, they have no clue how much freedom they have. And this is why people flock to the United States, because when you are free, it makes you more productive. We have to free the world. No license is going to make you better or worse at what you do. Most likely worse. Because if you don't have license and you pursue something, you pursue it because your interest is in that field. Many people study things because they know they bring a lot of profit. And they're not really into it much. And this is why you have plenty of lousy doctors, plenty of lousy engineers. Because they went there for financial reasons and not because they have real interest in it. So think about it. Let me know what you think. But I applaud you to stay behind me and let's abolish all the licensing. Every single license, which means passports as well. Open borders, yes, but not the way it's being done now. Now we don't have open borders. We have paid invasions. Completely different thing. People are being paid to go and to create these things. Most of my life, I've been shifting countries from Czechoslovakia to Yugoslavia, from Yugoslavia to United States, from United States to Venezuela, then to Peru. In the meantime, 25 years I lived on a boat, moving between islands, moving between countries. I enjoyed my freedom. Who gave me the freedom? US passport and dollar, because it's accepted everywhere. Now we all have to go into this kind of a freedom. And better. We have to liberate every single country, every single human to pursue their happiness. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all. Namaste. God bless you.